Hello guys, this is Adam from To Good Audio. Would you like to add some FM synthesis sound to your tracks? Now you can with our latest plugin, OpZilla. OpZilla is a 4-operator, 64-algorithm FM synthesizer featuring sampled attacks and great sounding effects. FM synthesis always is thought of as very complex and hard to master. But with OpZilla, with a single page layout where all the settings for the operators are visible in one view, and a bunch of great sounding factory presets that you can analyze to learn FM synthesis, it becomes easy. Let me show you around. OpZilla is an FM frequency modulation synthesizer featuring 4 operators that can be arranged into 64 algorithms. The basic 16 algorithms are here for quick reference, and the detailed configuration can be set in the Algorithm tab in the main display. Notice that every operator layout features different signal routings, 4 variations per layout, for a total of 64 algorithms. We'll talk about these parameters later on. You can browse the presets here with the arrows. Clicking on the name gives you the factory presets dropdown with various categories, and we have also provided a starter patch if you want to explore FM synthesis yourself. If you come up with something cool, right-click on the name, enter the name of your preset and click the save icon. The preset is now available through the user presets dropdown, and you can also manage your user presets folder. Apart from the algorithms in the main display, you have the wave view, a spectrum analyzer, preferences with pitch bend settings, you can lock these so they don't change when you change a preset, or unlock to use the values saved within a preset. You can resize OpZilla's interface. If you do so, you will need to reload the plugin and in some cases restart your DAW for it to take effect. You can also check how often OpZilla checks for updates and see if you have the latest version installed. We recommend that you leave this enabled. In the E button, you can browse and authorize installed preset expansions. The last tab, Tune, gives you access to various alternate tuning systems, and you can also specify the frequency of the bass note. You can lock this so it doesn't change with the preset, as with the pitch bend. Let's talk about the basic controls first. The main section features an output volume control of OpZilla. Punch controls the dynamics of the instrument. Porto sets the glide time between the notes played legato. Mono makes OpZilla monophonic, for example for playing leads and basses. Disabling it lets you play chords. The attack section lets you add a sampled attack to each note. There are various categories with a lot to choose from. Obviously, you can control the attack sample level too. The level can be dependent on the velocity of your playing. Pitch transposes the attack sample. Pitch can be constant or track the keyboard. Now let's try a different preset and talk about the effects section. OpZilla features 4 great sounding effects: distortion, chorus, delay, and reverb. Let's disable this first and try the distortion. Dry-wet controls the amount of the effect and drive the amount of the distortion. You can also control the tone and add some lo-fi ringing. Let's move to the chorus. You can control the speed of the modulation, its intensity and depth. Now the delay, with left and right times adjusted separately for stereo delay effects. To get a mono delay, adjust them to the same value, for example a quarter note. Or different values for stereo panning delay. Feedback controls the length of the reflection tail. With low values, you only get a few reflections. Now let's add some space with the reverb. Pre-delay time is set here. Damp controls the brightness of the reverb. And here you set the decay time. Now let's start talking about the basics of frequency modulation synthesis, called FM. We'll start with the starter patch. We have 4 operators that can be arranged in a variety of configurations. Let's select algorithm 16. All operators are in the bottom row. They are what is called carriers. They are directly audible. Only operator 1 has level up, so this is the only one you can hear now. You can change the wave shape for a different sound. Let's start with a sine wave. And you have a familiar ADSR envelope, you know from other synthesizers. But you can make the envelope loop as you hold the key. Or in one-shot mode, it will play through. If you press a key, you don't have to hold it. This is great for creating some rhythmic patches with rhythmic modulation as the envelopes repeat or play through. The pitch section lets you tune each of the operators. Control clicking on Windows and Command clicking on Mac lets you get back to the default value of each knob. Let's listen to the other operators, which are tuned higher. But these are just 4 sine waves playing in octaves, each an octave higher than the previous one. Let's look at how this all works. Pitch in FM synthesis can be specified in ratios. So 1 means that this plays a note that you play on the keyboard, for example C. If you set it to 2, it plays a C an octave higher. 4 means 4 times the frequency, or 2 octaves higher. 8, 3 octaves higher, or 8 times the base frequency. Notice that operator 2 is twice the frequency of operator 1, or 1 octave higher. You can also set a fixed frequency for an operator, meaning that it won't track the keyboard. Let's get back to the ratio of 1, meaning that the note played will be that of the note on the keyboard. Let's stop for a moment to talk about keyboard control of each operator. Let's start with the velocity knob, linking the level of each operator to the dynamics of your playing. Attack time of the envelope can be linked to the velocity of your playing, making the softer notes attack longer. This allows for some very expressive playing. Level control makes the higher notes quieter. Use this knob to balance the loudness of your notes across the keyboard if you experience too loud notes in the higher octaves. Decay makes the decay time of the envelope shorter as you play higher. This is important when synthesizing percussive instruments. With moderate decay control and full. Now that we know what each control does, apart from the tone slider, which we'll talk about later on, let's talk about the essence of frequency modulation synthesis. Currently, all 4 operators were carriers. They were directly audible, indicated by the level sliders being green. Now let's change the algorithm. So, operator 1 is the carrier, and operators 2, 3, and 4 are modulators. Being a modulator means that they modulate the frequency of the carrier, the oscillator they are routed into. Let's set the frequency of operator 2 to fixed 5 Hz and hear that it will modulate the frequency of operator 1. Introducing vibrato. Let's make it faster. Still sounds like vibrato, but as you go higher, you change the tone. Changing the timbre of the carrier by the modulator is the essence of FM synthesis. Different ratios will give you a different sound. Let's open a spectrum analyzer to see how this works. First, we'll only hear the carrier without the modulator. A sine wave. And now it changes its timbre, adding some higher frequencies. Let's change the ratio to 2. The timbre got richer. If you experience some excessive harshness or brightness, the tone slider tames it down. Higher setting, more mellow sound. Let's try it on a different frequency of operator 2. Setting different tuning ratios between the carrier and the modulators will get you a different set of harmonic and non-harmonic partial tones. The level will be dependent on the depth of FM modulation, meaning the level of the modulating signal. The amount of the generated tones can vary over time if the modulator is controlled with the envelope. This might get you similar results as opening and closing the filter with the envelope you might know from subtractive synthesis. Let's listen to some different envelope settings and modulator levels. we could hear that the harmonically rich attack only appeared at the beginning of the sound before the operator 2, the modulator, decayed. You can get an even richer sound by using 3 modulators to modulate one carrier. So operator 2 decays longer, creating some harmonics, and we'll use operator 3, which will be velocity sensitive, to create a bright attack. We'll tune it to 16 for some even higher harmonics. The metallic attack depends on velocity. Now let's try something else. We'll select algorithm 1, where each operator modulates the next. Operator 1 modulated by operator 2, which is modulated by operator 3, which is being modulated by operator 4. So the timbre gets more and more complex down the line, and you can only hear operator 1 modulated by complex waveforms created by the other modulators. Operator 2 modulates operator 1, and now operator 2 gets harmonically richer because it's being modulated by operator 3, creating even more harmonics in the carrier which we hear. You can change the wave shape for a different sound. The possibilities are endless. Now we add operator 4 with an even shorter envelope for just a small attack. Notice that operator 4 has feedback. It's routed back into itself. This creates some additional harmonics within the operator. Now let's demonstrate it on a different configuration. I've chosen algorithm 6 in a variant where operator 2 is fed back into operator 4. For this to work, first we need to turn up operator 2. Let's play with the ratios. And now feed operator 2 into operator 4. The FM amount knob controls the overall amount of FM modulation occurring within the whole patch. For all modulating paths. You can modulate your sound further with 2 LFOs. You can set the speed of the LFO with the rate knob either in Hz or synced to project tempo. Let's set it to 5 Hz. You can also select different shapes for the LFO, but let's leave it at sine for the moment. Let's dial the amount of the LFO up and route it to pitch. Introducing vibrato. You can also modulate the global FM amount. So it was essentially modulating this parameter. The LFO can retrigger on key press. Let's select a different shape. If this is turned off, the LFO is free running. LFO2 is similar, except that it lets you modulate the levels of each of the 4 operators. By modulating the operators which are modulators, you modulate the timbre they create. Now let's control the vibrato created by LFO1 with the mod wheel. On the right side of the keyboard you can assign the mod wheel to various parameters, for example global FM amount, but now we need LFO1 amount. For the mod wheel to introduce the LFO1 pitch modulation causing vibrato, or timbre modulation of LFO2. Mod wheel can also control LFO speed. And as I said before, the global FM amount. Now let's select algorithm 10 to create a patch with 2 carriers 1 and 3. We'll set the ratio to 1.5, meaning that they're a perfect fifth apart. Operators 2 and 4 modulating these carriers will be 4 times their frequencies, so 4 and 6 respectively. So we have a fifth lead. Let's make it mono and add some glide. A richer timbre is obtained by feeding back operator 4 into itself. Let's add some mod wheel controlled vibrato with LFO1. And let's enable some effects. FM synthesis is a complex topic, impossible to cover in such a short tutorial, but you can learn a lot by examining the factory presets, and thanks to OpZilla's one-page layout where all the settings for the operators are visible in one view, you will quickly learn how this all works. Consult additional resources if you want to learn more, as FM synthesis is a very powerful tool, and now, thanks to OpZilla, it is also easy to use. Have fun! If you want to try OpZilla yourselves, you can download a free demo from our website togetheraudio.com. You can purchase the plugin for as low as $10 thanks to our Choose Your Price model, and 10% goes to a good cause you select at checkout. Please follow us on our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, for more content coming up soon and new plugins for you. Take care and goodbye.